have Deborah Bartholomew here with me. And during the month of May, you know, people generally tend to want to give awareness to the visually impaired and issues surrounding the visually impaired. So this morning, I have with me Deborah Bartholomew. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. For the entire week, Carrie will be conversing with persons who, very special thanks to Janesta Agard, Grandma Jeannie, as we call her, for setting this up almost a month ago. And we're very happy to have you because the whole idea behind it is to provide light and love to persons who need it.
Yes.
And look forward to it. I know you are part of the group that works with Grandma Jeannie at the hospital.
Yes.
And now we're sharing it here on national television. So Deborah Bartholomew, registrar in ophthalmology at the Port of Spain General Hospital. Welcome. And we're looking at diabetes and visual impairment and the relationship between diabetes and visual impairment.
Yes. So diabetes, as you know, is a condition that affects about 425 million people worldwide. Right. And in Trinidad and Tobago, our prevalence is about 13%. So we have about 143,000 diabetics in Trinidad and Tobago. However, it is known that 1 out of every 2 persons with diabetes is undiagnosed, so our figure may actually be higher.
Yes.
And out of that, 1 out of every 3rd diabetic has some form of retinopathy, which is how diabetes affects the eye.
And how does one discover that, you know, they have an impairment that is related to diabetes? Yeah.
Well, the reason we need to do more education is because a lot of our diabetics go undiagnosed until very late. Mm-hmm. In terms of diabetes as well as in terms of vision. Once you start getting visual impairment, then the damage can be irreversible at this stage. Okay. So it is advisable that most diabetics, well, all diabetics, at the time of diagnosis, they should have an eye examination, and then at least once a year after.
And is it age specific, or do you find that it affects persons of a particular age group?
No, unfortunately, we do have type 1 diabetics, and we've been finding that they're getting younger. But we also have our type 2 diabetics, and generally they're within the 20 to 64 age group.
Oh, so it's a wide range.
Very wide.
It's very wide. And what are some of the symptoms that persons can say, oh, I need to check?
Well, with diabetes, because the blood sugar is high, you're not making enough insulin, or you're making no insulin, or you're not responding well to insulin. You can pass a lot of urine, so you find that you go to the bathroom often, and because of that you get thirsty. You also get very hungry, so you're always eating.
Yes.
And you lose weight quickly. So those are some of the symptoms.
And once you start, you said that it's irreversible, but is it preventable?
Yes, so the early stages of diabetic retinopathy, so the retina is if you think of the eye as a camera, the retina is the film in the back of the eye.
Yes.
And so that's where diabetes does its damage, mostly. And the early stages of diabetic retinopathy are reversible.
Right.
So if it's caught early on, and it usually takes some time to see any changes in the eye, but it's the small blood vessels that become damaged. And so there's bleeding and swelling at the back of the eye, and then if that's not held in check, then of course it becomes irreversible.
So what's the procedure? Is it a painful one?
No, not at all. Yeah. Not at all. And it's a fairly quick examination. You do have to become dilated, so the eyes, we put drops in the eyes so that we can see the full retina at the back of the eye. But it is a painless procedure.
And if it's caught early on, what is the procedure to help it to stop?
Well, usually, and this is, I must stress that that's saying the eyes are the window to the soul.
Right.
So what we see in the eyes are actually happening throughout the rest of the body. So if we catch this in the eyes, it helps you as a diabetic to go about making proper changes to your lifestyle. So self-care is important, proper diet and exercise.
Right.
And those are some of the key areas that can help to rein your diabetes in. But also, if it is that there are changes, we may need to do some laser. There are some procedures that we may need to do to just keep the swelling and bleeding in check.
What about maintenance? So now that you know that you have it, what about maintenance and lifestyle at that point?
Yes, so it's really important. Diet, a proper, no, we don't say diabetic diet, so a proper diet,
Yes.
which is lower or we tend to eat a lot of carbohydrates in this part of the world. So a diet that is lower in carbohydrates, but also complex carbohydrates. So we tend to eat a lot of simple carbohydrates like Irish potato and white rice and white flour. But if you rein that in with, and we use ground provision instead, cassava has a lower glycemic index, brown rice, brown whole wheat flour, and exercise is really important. Exercise does two things. It helps us to burn that sugar, but also it helps us to lose weight because we know that fat has insulin resistance.
Ah, okay. So that's something that anyone, not just diabetics, need to be careful about.
That's right. That's right. Exactly.
And where can you be tested? I know people are asking that right now.
So, of course, to get seen at the eye clinic, at any eye clinic, you need a referral. But you can get a referral from your doctor. Okay, but it's important, it's really important for every single diabetic to be seen.
And these are the eye clinics, are they major hospitals?
As the major hospitals.
So can you get tested at clinics throughout the country?
You can get tested, there's diabetic screening at certain health centers, and also your optometrist, your ophthalmologist can examine your eyes as well.
Okay, speaking of which, I need to get tested. Yeah, my ophthalmologist keeps calling. Yes. They're like, Lisa, get there. You know how busy it can be.
Yes.
But I want to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, Deborah Bartholomew, Registrar in Ophthalmology at the Port of Spain General Hospital, for coming out this morning.
Thank you for having me.
And really sharing some useful information. You're kicking off the week, you know. Yes, a number of your fellow colleagues who go out and do this good work once a week with Janesta will be here this week to give you more information. And of course, if you're now tuning in, you can continue to look throughout the rest of the week for that information. And you can look at it at 10 o'clock because we repeat the show at 10 o'clock here on TTT. Harry, some very useful information there.
Certainly some information that a lot of people need access to, and I'm sure it would help a lot of people because, as you said, there's a large number of individuals, 143,000 something with diabetes in Trinidad and Tobago. And did you see that of all the cases of diabetes, it also affects the retina?
Yeah, no, so it affects the retina. One out of every third diabetic has retinopathy.
So that's a large percentage.
Yeah, so that is a high number. That is a high number. But remember that a lot of people are undiagnosed.
That's right.
And some even come in already having severe damage.
Well, thank you very much for joining us once again. We're taking a few messages and come right back here on Now.